Well, I'm excited about this series as well. We're starting into a new series, and it's on the covenant. The covenant. And I believe there's going to be some things that you're going to learn and you're going to see. And we're not talking about, so in this series, we are talking about the blood covenant today and probably next week because there's no way I can cover the whole thing. But we'll be talking about the blood covenant, the salt covenant, the sandal covenant, and the marriage covenant. And we'll start looking at how the old covenant and the new covenant come together. What's the meaning behind this? There are meanings and there are idioms, if you will. Idioms are like when your kid comes home and says, "That's no cap." All right? And you go, "What are you talking about?" There are cultural languages and there's cultural things that take place, and people say things in a culture that if you're not in that culture, you may not understand. One of the things that we have problems with, if we're not careful, is when foreigners come to our land and we say things in our good redneckness, okay? Redneckiness, however you want to say that, right? Or maybe you come from the north, which I won't say any names, but like Kara and them. And you have to learn all of these hillbilly idioms, right? Like, what are you talking about? I told Kara, I said, "I'm going to teach you how to say a full sentence in one word." And she said, "What?" I said, "Jeet." Now, some of y'all heard that. Did you eat? Right? And then the response is one word, maybe two. Jew? Jeet? Jew? Did you eat? No, did you? So that lets us know it's time for lunch, right? So there are these idioms that we use that culturally may not be understood unless we understand the culture. Okay? So that's what we're going to cover in some of this. The blood covenant, and we're going to talk about some of these cultural understandings. What the Hebrews understand, what the Jews understand, the Israelites, when they said certain things in this, all right? And you're going to see an amazing thing. Have you ever heard the saying, blood's thicker than water? We understand that to mean that blood relations are more important than friendships. But the Hebrew understood the true meaning of this saying. What they were saying is the one you cut covenant with, blood, is better than the one you've shared the womb with, water. Blood is thicker than water. Covenant supersedes even family relations. Some of you said hallelujah. The covenant is serious business. And it was very important at that time. These people understood what was being said. My relationship with whom I'm joined in covenant is to be considered more valuable than the relationship with my brother in whom I have shared the womb. So we're going to start talking about this blood covenant. Speaking to Paul, I'm going to answer, hopefully, an age-old question. But we see Paul, and in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 7 through 10, it says this: "Even though I have received such wonderful revelation from God, so to keep me from becoming proud, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan, to torment me and keep me from becoming proud. 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away. Each time He said, 'My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness.' So now I'm glad to boast about my weakness so that the power of Christ can work through me." That's why I take pleasure in my weakness, and in the insults, the hardships, the persecutions, and the troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. What was this thorn in Paul's flesh? Aha! We have to go back to the Hebrew to understand what's being said in the Greek. Remember, we talked about there are idioms, cultural language that's used that we don't understand. Who wrote this book? Paul. Where is he coming from? A Hebrew understanding. If I told you, guys, the hour is getting near, I am so hungry I could eat an elephant, would you know what I'm talking about? If we had someone here from maybe, I don't know, Africa, and I was to say that, what do you think they would think in their mind? He's going to kill an elephant and eat it. He might take me literal. Even though you guys are going, no, that's not what he means. He just means that he's so hungry that his belly is so less that he needs a large amount of food to fill it up. We know that's not true. Here's a Hebrew idiom that says, he has given me this messenger, this thorn in my flesh. Thorn in the flesh is mentioned 3 other times in the Old Covenant. It is found in Joshua and in Judges and in Numbers. In Numbers 33:55, it talks about this thorn in the flesh in each 3 of these references. Excuse me. But it says that this thing was, and this is what, from the Hebrew perspective, they understood. What all of these cases in the Old Testament was referring to was a reference to the ungodly or the out-of-covenant people trying to stop the work of God. What was Paul's thorn in the flesh? Ungodly people trying to stop the work of God. I told you that, just using Neil as an example, if we cut covenant, I would take on his name and he would take on my name. I would become Monty Beam Dean. Neil would become Neil Dean Beam. That's hard. Woo! So when Neil would go out in town, they would say, "Hi, how are you? What's your name?" He would say, "Neil Dean Beam." And the Hebrew understanding was, oh, Neil's family has cut covenant with the Dean family. Part of your name is Christ. You've cut covenant with him. Maybe you're in this place today and you have not cut covenant. You don't know what that's about, but you want to know more about it. Here's what I ask you to do. If that's what you want to do today, I'm asking you to move out from your seat, come to this front. I want to pray with you. We want to pray with you.